The movie starts with truck driver Gary arriving at Maddie's house to pick up her car. Maddie comes out and tries to rekindle her feelings for Gary, as they were in a relationship until she suddenly broke up with him. However, her attempts fail when another guy, with whom she spent the night, comes out in his underwear and tries to touch her. Despite Maddie's protests, Gary takes the car because he's an Uber driver, putting him in an awkward situation. Maddie tries to catch up with Gary by rollerblading and tries to stop him when he's buying breakfast. She tries to get the car back, but it's still attached to the truck. She awkwardly tries to get it out until Gary finally lifts it back up. As a result of her actions, Maddie is put on probation and also told that she owes a lot of back taxes, which could lead to her losing her home. Maddie works as a bartender at a waterfront spot in Montauk, where she's lived her whole life. She works with her friend Sarah and hangs out with Sarah and her husband Jim. Maddie's boss notices her attitude when she gets into an argument with a customer who wants to pay before the bar opens. During her break, Sarah shows Maddie a job listing from a wealthy family looking for someone to date their son before he goes to college. In return, they're offering a hefty sum of money. Maddie finds out that the date is actually a sex date, but decides to go along with it since she has no other options and wants to take advantage of the wealthy family's offer, as she's at risk of losing her home. Maddie arrives at the Becker family's house and meets the parents, Laird and Allison. They discuss their son Percy, who's going to be a junior in college. Percy is very awkward and shy, with hardly any friends, and spends his days playing video games in his room. Although they expected someone Percy's age, Maddie is 19 years older than him. Maddie assures them that she's the right woman for the job, but Allison tells her that Percy can't know about their arrangement. Laird and Allison ask Maddie to find Percy at the dog shelter. She tries to flirt with him by wearing a form-fitting dress and pretends to adopt a dog. Percy shows her a dog named Milo, a former police dog that was kicked out for being addicted to cocaine. Percy gets nervous as Maddie puts too much pressure on him and tries to leave quickly. But Maddie offers to take Percy home after borrowing Jim's van. When she brings him home, he sprays her face with a can of moose mace. After Maddie painfully clarifies that she only finds him attractive, Percy says he just wants to go on a proper date, which Maddie agrees to. Later, Maddie returns the van to Jim and Sarah, telling them that Percy is impossible. Maddie takes Percy to a bar where she knows the waitress and orders him a Long Island iced tea, which he dislikes. A guy named Travis shows up who apparently used to date Maddie. He shows off his wedding ring and says that Maddie leaving him was the best thing that ever happened to him. He warns Percy to stay away from her. Later, Maddie takes Percy to the beach, where they go skinny dipping and swimming naked. Although he's hesitant, Maddie convinces him to join in. However, 3 drunk teenagers show up and steal their clothes, which contain their wallets, phones, and keys. Maddie, completely naked, confronts the teenagers who stole their stuff and manages to fight them off, getting their belongings back. As Maddie returns to the water, Percy realizes something's wrong and goes to help her. But Percy, still naked, demands her phone. When Maddie refuses, he jumps onto the hood of her car and she drives off with him stuck to the hood. The police notice the commotion and start chasing them. Afraid of losing her license, Maddie drives recklessly and manages to lose the police by crossing the train tracks just before a train passes. Maddie takes Percy back to his place, where she tries to seduce him with a sensual dance. In return, she asks Percy to dance, but she notices a zit on his back, which he's self-conscious about. As Maddie applies lotion to Percy's back, he opens up about his past, telling her that his classmates mocked him and spread rumors that he was having sex with his parents' au pair. This is why he doesn't like going out. Maddie also shares an embarrassing memory with Percy. After this, Percy asks Maddie to go on a real date with him for a day, and she agrees. They go to an arcade, win prizes, but eventually get kicked out because Maddie was flirting with another kid. After that, the couple goes to a lighthouse, where Percy asks for a kiss, which Maddie grants despite his awkwardness. Maddie also tells Percy that she's never left Montauk, lives with her mom in the same house, and that her father left him a house and some money to keep them from bothering him and his new family. They then visit Percy's former nanny, Jody, an adult man, who suspects something's wrong with Maddie but she brushes him off, calling him a male nanny for a teenage boy creepy. Meanwhile, a former classmate of Maddie's, Duck Khan, now a realtor, visits her at home and offers her the full value of her house. Maddie declines the offer because she still intends to save the house. Maddie and Percy go on a dinner date at a fancy restaurant because they both missed their prom. She encourages Percy to play the piano after mentioning his talent, and he entertains the whole restaurant with a song, earning applause and cheers from the patrons. Maddie is equally impressed. Percy's schoolmate, Natalie, comes to praise his performance and tells him she'll also be attending Princeton in the fall. Natalie invites Percy to a party for Princeton-bound students, which Maddie tries to dissuade him from attending, fearing he'll get hurt by Natalie or another girl. Despite Maddie's objections, Percy insists on going, and they take a limo to the party. Maddie searches for Percy among the teenagers, who think she's too old to be there. She eventually finds Percy on a bed with Natalie, but he's sick from drinking and taking ibuprofen. Maddie tries to rouse Percy until the party host's parents arrive, and Percy tries to defend her, but accidentally chokes her. After leaving the party, Percy tells Maddie he's ready to have sex with her in the limo, but Maddie declines, realizing he's drunk and not in a state to make such a decision. Meanwhile, Laird and Allison notice Percy's sudden enthusiasm, which he attributes to his new girlfriend, but Percy tells him he's not going to Princeton because he wants to stay with Maddie. Panicked, Allison contacts Maddie, making Maddie question her role in Percy's decision. Laird and Allison give Maddie a car, hoping she'll keep Percy from leaving Princeton, without any strings attached. Unbeknownst to them, Percy overhears their conversation through the car's speakers, discovering Maddie's true intentions and getting his heart broken. Percy invites Maddie to lunch with his parents to confront her. Suppressing his anger, Percy drinks their wine and later takes his friend Crispin's big car to the woods to destroy it. They put a rock on the accelerator pedal, causing the car to crash into a tree. On their return, Percy and Maddie decide to have sex and end the matter. However, Percy quickly leaves before they can start anything. Knowing everything, Percy refuses to meet Maddie again and tells her she'll be stuck in Montauk for the rest of her life. Responsible for the car's destruction, Maddie is forced to drive a broken car for Uber, while Percy busies himself playing video games and ignores Maddie's calls and messages. Finally, Maddie saves enough money to fix the car and successfully pays her taxes, celebrating with Sarah. However, Sarah announces that she and her husband are moving to Florida due to her pregnancy, leaving Maddie feeling lonely. In an unexpected turn, Maddie contacts Doug and agrees to sell her house. She decides to sell it to Jim and Sarah, allowing them to stay and raise their child, while she plans to move to California. At the Princeton mixer, Maddie runs into Percy, but it's difficult for them to talk since he's not willing to listen to her apology. Desperate, Maddie jumps onto the hood of his car, reminiscent of her past antics. They eventually drive to the beach, where Maddie accidentally sets her hair on fire with a barbecue grill. Percy puts out the flames, and they both cry and apologize for their past misunderstandings. After making amends, Maddie tells Percy about her plan to move to California, which he supports. In a light-hearted mood, he jokes that even though they didn't have sex, it still counts as him losing his virginity. On the day Percy leaves for Princeton, he says goodbye to Laird and Allison, packs his bags, and is surprised by Maddie, who arrives to take him to the airport. Before starting her own journey to California, Maddie reveals that she's adopted Milo, providing a happy ending to their shared experience. Their shared experience comes to a pleasant conclusion. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, as we will continue to share more recaps like this.